What's good, my YouTube friends and family? Welcome back! And today we're here to review the newest SML movie, Jeffy the Fly. Now, it's been 10 SML movies since we've gotten an episode that involved Jeffy. Like I've said before, Jeffy has been in some of these recent videos, but lately it's been 10 episodes since we've gotten a video that's actually based around Jeffy and actually had Jeffy's name in the title of the episode. Now, by the title, Jeffy gets turned into a fly for some reason, and it looks like in the thumbnail, Jackie Chu's gonna be coming in saying, "You killed my grandfather." I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Hopefully it's gonna be good. But with that being said, if you guys would like to watch the original video, as always, link is in the description down below, as well as the link to my social medias and second YouTube channel. Make sure you go and follow me there. Make sure you go and subscribe to the original SML channel. Support the original creator. And to confirm if you're watching my full review from beginning to end, make sure you comment 5 fly emojis. But with that being said, let's get on with the review. So at the beginning of the video, Jeffy, quote unquote, comes back from school and actually has a good day. And Marvin says that you actually had a good day. And Jeffy said, "Yeah, sure did. I learned a lot. You bet your sweet bibby I did." And he says, "You know what? Since you actually learned something and had a good day, we should take you to Chuck E. Cheese." Then Marvin gets a phone call from Jackie Chu saying that Jeffy didn't even show up to school today. And Marvin's like, "Oh, really?" And Jeffy's like... And Jackie Chu says if Jeffy misses one more... So before that threat, Jackie Chu actually told him that Jeffy actually had an important test today and failed it. And he says that if he misses one more day of school, that he's going to have to go all the way back to kindergarten. So then, Marvin says to Jeffy, I forgot what he said. Hold on. Alright, yeah. So Marvin asks Jeffy, "Why didn't you take the bus to school?" And Jeffy's like, "Because I missed the bus. Don't hit me." And Marvin and Rose are like, "Why didn't you just wake us up so we could drive you to school?" And he's like, "I tried to wake you up. I literally, quote unquote, yell in your guys' ear while you were sleeping." And he's like, "I don't remember this happening." Rose, do you remember this happening? She's like, "No." And Jeffy's like, "Well, then watch the flashback." And he's like, "Hey, Daddy, I gotta go to school. Can you drive me? If you don't drive me to school, I'm just not gonna go and play my room. I'm gonna go in my room and play with my pecker, or I'm not going." So then, yeah, Marvin's like, "You didn't even try to wake us up." And Jeffy was like, "I was trying to be respectful." And Marvin was like, "No, you weren't. You were barely trying to wake us up just so you can't go to school." So then, after a whole bullshit of arguments back and forth, Marvin decides to call Brooklyn guy, aka the cops, to see if they can drive Jeffy to school, because Marvin says that cops have to patrol the neighborhood anyway, so while they're patrolling the neighborhood, they could literally bring Jeffy to school in the mornings, then in the afternoon they could pick him up and bring him back home. Like, bro, that's so lazy. Like, bro, he's your kid. So Brooklyn guy comes over and Marvin says gangster words to Brooklyn guy. He's like, "Are you threatening me? Are you a gangster or something?" So then Marvin tells Brooklyn guy the situation that he wants, or the favor that he wants him to do. And they're like, "What? Am I wearing my cop uniform right now? Wait, Jeffy, do you see me wearing my cop uniform? Rose, do you see me wearing my cop uniform?" They all say, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, that's funny, because I almost thought I had my taxi driver outfit on." Marvin's like, "Wait, you have a taxi driver outfit?" And he's like, "No, I'm not taking your kid to school. Like, I don't even drive my own daughter to school. So what makes you think I want to take your son?" Like, bro, he makes a valid point. So then Broken Guy literally says, "I'm not taking your son to school just because you don't want to be a parent." And Marvin's like, "Oh, I do want to be a parent, just not in the mornings." Like, what the fuck? So Broken Guy tells another animated story about a guy named Rides the Bus Rudy, who used to do reckless shit while riding the bus. Like, every single morning, he would be in a new seat, and people would be like, "Hey, Rudy, you're in my seat. Get up." And he puts a seatbelt on. He's like, "Well, I don't see your name on it." And then he would even stand up while the bus is moving, and then the bus driver would stop the bus, saying, like, "I'm not gonna stop the bus. I'm not gonna keep going until everybody sits down." So then one time, he actually leaned up on the emergency door of the bus, and then the bus ran over a pothole, and that made Rudy fall out the back of the bus, and he got hit by a car, which surprisingly, that didn't kill him. But what did kill him is that when they went backwards to pick up Rudy, the school bus actually ran him over, and that's what killed him. But then his parents got a bunch of money from the county because the school bus ran him over. Like, what the fuck? So, after that whole story, Broken Guy suggests, why can't they just get a teleportation machine? So then, after a whole few more minutes of filler, Marvin says, can you bring us there in your cop car? And Broken Guy's like, again, I'm not doing that because I only take criminals. So Marvin just slaps Broken Guy across the face. It's like, ooh, you know what? I'm going to let you off with a warning this time because I don't want to give you what you want. So then, Broken Guy leaves, and then Marvin and Rose are about to leave with Jeffy. But Jeffy's like, can I stay here and play with my pecker? And Marvin's like, you know what, fine, just stay there. He's like, shibby! And I'm assuming he presumes to play with his pecker. So then, they go to Dr. Finkelshit's workshop, who's selling all his weird inventions, because he says these inventions do work, but he just selling them so he can have more money to make new inventions. Which I could kind of see that happening. So, he shows off all these inventions, like a communicator that lets him talk to aliens, an electric lie detector, where if you lie and tell the truth, it might still electrocute you to death. And then, there's a typewriter that only types Harry Potter stuff, and then they actually get the teleportation machine that Cody used in an old SML video for $50. And Rose is like, how much is the typewriter? And he's like, that's also $50. And she's like, Marvin! But Marvin's like, no, we need the teleportation machine. So, yeah. And I'm literally 8 minutes and 26 seconds into the video, and there's only 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. Why haven't we seen Jeffy turn into a fly yet? So, Marvin brings home the teleportation machine, and Jeffy's like, will it take me anywhere? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I want to go to the titty bar. So then, they have a whole few minutes of filler, right? And then Marvin says, you know what? I don't really trust that you're going to go to school, so every morning I'm going to wake up at 8 a.m. to make sure you actually use this thing to go to school. And Rose is like, so if you're going to wake up at 8 a.m. to make sure he uses the teleporter, why can't you just drive him to school? And he's like, no, I'm going to wake up to make sure he goes to school. I'm not going to be that energized to drive a car in the morning. Like, bro, you really don't want to be a parent, do you? So then the next day comes, and Marvin and Jeffy mess around with each other until Marvin activates the machine to only respond to his voice. And then when Jeffy goes into the teleporter, a fly comes out of nowhere, and Marvin's like, take me to school. And then it takes Jeffy, the fly, and the teleporter to school. So then, at school, Jackie Chu is calling rolls, and he calls out Junior, Joseph, and Cody's name, and then he calls out Jeffy's name, and he doesn't appear until he appears at his desk, half man, half fly. Like, the hell? I almost forgot about that, because in an old SML video called The Teleportation Machine, Cody made that same machine, and then there was an accident where his head got swapped onto his Ken doll's body, and then Ken's head got replaced on Cody's body, because Cody said, whenever we teleport, the machine breaks our bodies down into molecules and then reconstructs them on the other side. So when Cody and Ken went through together, it mixed up their molecules. So Jeffy is now half fly, half man. And then Jackie Chu sees a fly. He's like, holy shit, it's a fly. You killed my grandfather. And he comes at him with a fly swatter. And Jeffy takes the fly swatter out of his hand and starts beating the shit out of Jackie Chu. And then Bully makes fun of him. And he starts beating the shit out of Bully. And then Jackie Chu comes back with an electric fly swatter. And then he's like, you really want to fuck with me? And he zaps Jeffy. And then he's like, you really want to fuck with me? And then Marvin actually drags Jeffy back home. And he's about to call the doctor. And then, yeah, he tells him what's going on. And he's like, did you get a teleportation machine? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, was there a fly flying around the teleportation machine? And Marvin says, yeah, I thought I swatted away, but it could have came back. And then they're wondering what happened to the other human half of Jeffy. And then Jeffy, the fly Jeffy says, the other half of me went to the titty bar. And Marvin, Brooklyn guy, proceeds to go to quote-unquote Thailand. And then that's how the video ends. And the SML question is, if you could be any animal, what would it be? Honestly, as much as I like lions, I would want to be a dragon. Because when do you ever really see a dragon? But honestly, since we finally got a video that involved Jeffy, this wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. Like, it literally took until the next 4 minutes. Hold on. it basically took 4 minutes until the episode was over for Jeffy to actually turn into a fly. Like, majority of this video was mostly filler and anything. Like, if anything, they should have renamed this SML video other than Jeffy the Fly, because that didn't happen until the last 4 minutes of the video. So, honestly, it was somewhat entertaining, especially at the ending part where Jackie Chu was about to beat Jeffy's ass with the fly swatter. That part was actually funny. So, with that being said, I'll rate Jeffy the Fly on a scale of 1 to 10. A 4.5. It was pretty mid, honestly. But honestly, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And if you guys would like to watch the original video, as always, link is in the description down below, as well as the link to my social medias and second YouTube channel. Make sure you go and follow me there. And make sure you go and subscribe to the original SML channel. Support the original content creator as always. And to confirm if you're watching my full review from beginning to end, comment down 5 fly emojis. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.